In today's video, I'm going to show you how to add light in Photoshop to make your images look more cinematic, dramatic, and professional. Lighting effects can completely transform a photo, and the best part is you can create them in just a few minutes using simple tools that already exist inside Photoshop. I'll walk you through two powerful methods. The first method uses a gradient to create a soft, realistic light like sunlight or a spotlight, and the second method uses the built-in lens flare filter to quickly add a strong light source. Make sure you watch until the end because I'll also share a quick pro tip that will make your lighting effects look much more realistic. And if you enjoy Photoshop tutorials like this, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more simple and practical editing guides. Alright, let's jump straight into Photoshop and get started. The first method is the gradient light effect. This technique is great for creating soft sunlight, window light, or a natural glow in your photo. Start by opening your image in Photoshop. The first thing you want to do is create a new layer. You can do this by clicking the New Layer icon at the bottom of the Layers panel. Working on a new layer keeps your original image untouched and gives you more control over the effect. Once the new layer is created, go over to the toolbar and select the Gradient tool. The shortcut for this tool is the letter G on your keyboard. After selecting the Gradient tool, go up to the top options bar and click on the Gradient preview to edit it. What you want to choose here is a gradient that goes from white to transparent. This is important because it will allow the light to fade naturally into the image instead of creating a hard edge. Next, change the gradient type to radial gradient. A radial gradient spreads outward in a circular shape, which is perfect for creating natural-looking light sources. Now decide where the light in your image should come from. For example, if you want sunlight coming through a window or a glow behind a subject, position your cursor at that point. Click and drag outward from the light source toward the direction the light should spread. You'll see a soft white glow appear on the new layer. At this stage, it will probably look too bright or washed out, but don't worry because the next step fixes that. Go to the Layers panel and change the blend mode of the gradient layer from Normal to Screen. Screen blend mode removes the dark areas and keeps the bright glow, which instantly turns that white gradient into a realistic light effect. If the light looks too strong, simply lower the layer opacity until it blends naturally with your image. You can also resize or reposition the gradient by using the Transform tool if needed. This simple technique is incredibly powerful and works great for portraits, landscapes, and cinematic photo edits. Now let's move on to the second method, which is even faster if you want to add a visible light source to your image. This method uses the lens flare filter in Photoshop. First, create another new layer, just like before. This time, fill the entire layer with black. The easiest way to do this is by pressing Shift plus F5 and choosing black as the fill color. Once the layer is filled with black, go to the top menu and click Filter, then go to Render and select Lens Flare. A preview window will appear showing different types of flares you can use. You can choose the brightness and also position the flare exactly where you want the light source to appear. For example, you might place it behind the sun, a car headlight, or a bright lamp in the scene. Once you pick the style you like, click OK. Now the entire layer will still look mostly black with the flare on it. But here is the trick. Go back to the Layers panel and change the blend mode of that layer to Screen. Just like before, the black disappears and only the bright light flare remains visible on your image. Instantly, you get a dramatic lighting effect that can add energy and realism to your photo. Now before we finish, here's a quick pro tip to make your lighting effects look far more realistic. Pay attention to the color of the light you use. If you are simulating sunlight, try adding a slightly warm yellow or orange tone to the gradient or flare. If you are creating a night scene or moonlight effect, using a subtle blue tone can make the lighting feel much more natural. Another trick is applying a small amount of Gaussian blur to your light layer. This softens the glow and removes harsh edges, so the light blends smoothly into the scene. These small adjustments can make a huge difference in the final result. And that's it. Now you know 2 easy ways to add light in Photoshop using gradients and lens flares to create beautiful lighting effects in just a few minutes. If this tutorial helped you, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Photoshop tips and creative editing tutorials. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.